Hello, happy fall. I'm filming on October 1st and I cannot be happier that fall is really officially here. We're in the first real month of fall. I'm sitting down today to film a little bit of a free pattern roundup. So I have 18 patterns I'll be highlighting, and these are all patterns that I myself have either knit in the past, so I'll have some examples to show you, or things that are on my to knit list. So not a very thematic free pattern list, more of just these are things that I really love and can either vouch for or am just excited to knit. I decided this would be a good video for now because I don't know about you, but I'm already kind of starting to think about gift knitting. There's a few people in my life that I would really love to give, a hat or a pair of mitts, something like that, a pair of socks for Christmas. And one of my favorite ways to make a gift net more affordable, because it is already, you're buying the yarn, you're putting in this time, is to use a free pattern, especially I want to make things for people I love that they're going to love. And sometimes we don't have the same style. So I don't necessarily want to spend, $6 to $10 on a pattern for something I won't use again, I don't love, I know they would love. And so free patterns to me is a great way to accomplish my gift knits. And that's not to say anything against paid for patterns. I think that those are really important. You are paying for an amazing service, the amount of effort that goes into designing a pattern, especially when there are different sizes, all of the grading, all of the math, the test knitting, all of that is very worth compensation. But it is nice as well to see some free patterns, support designers in other ways as well by sharing their work through a lot of these free patterns. So I'm planning to just highlight some of those today. So after that little disclaimer, let's just get started. The first category of free pattern I'll be talking through is socks. And there are so many free socks out there that are amazing. I've just chosen 6 to talk about. So the first pair is the Cozy Autumn Socks by This Handmade Life. I've made these in the past. I don't have them with me. They were a sample knit, so I'll put a nice little picture up here. But this is an amazing pattern. It uses fingering weight yarn, as most sock patterns do, and just super enjoyable, memorizable lace pattern. Very well explained. The heel details are beautiful too. It's a normal heel flap and gusset, but there's just some garter rows on the side that I just think really elevates the final look. So I highly recommend knitting that pattern. We'll see if I have time. I'm really feeling inspired by Socktober to cast on a pair of socks. And it might be these pair because it is really the fall time of year and this is the perfect fall pattern. I also do want to note, a while ago, I'll link this in the description, I made a Ravelry bundle of fall inspired socks. So sock patterns, some of them, are color work. Some of these are just things like the Cozy Autumn socks that kind of encompass an autumn vibe. So I will link that in the description below as well. Some of the socks I'm highlighting come from that list, but there are also some amazing other free patterns on there as well as some paid for ones that just have nice cozy fall sock vibes. So yeah, that's the first pair of socks. They're really nice. The next pair is the I'm So Basic socks by Summerly Designs, and I have mine with me. They're looking a little bit worse for wear. These were the first socks I ever made, so they've held up pretty well given that. I made them sometime last year, so I think maybe it was this year. I don't know. Maybe it was this year, but I'd say older than 6 months at least. So it's a normal heel flap and gusset. Like it says, I'm So Basic socks. They're just basic vanilla socks. They've got a ribbed cuff, and then you make your little sock, heel flap gusset, foot, normal wedge toe. And embarrassingly, did not weave in the ends very well for my first pair of socks. This is a really great pattern to start your sock knitting journey. I'm forgetting if this pattern only has one size or it's some other sock patterns. I will say one thing about free patterns is there are some really amazing free patterns. The Cozy Autumn Socks, for example, has all of the sizes, and the I'm So Basic, all of these socks are really great. Some of them though, since the designer is giving you a pattern for free, the designer might not grade it for every size, so you might have to do some of your own math. Let's say I made this the 72 stitch version. No, this pattern definitely does have multiple sizes, but some of them don't, because they are giving it for free. And you know, if I'm paying for a pattern, I expect more than one size. But for some of these free patterns where, you know, they're making the medium size, the majority of people will fit that or be able to quickly modify, especially with socks. If you figure out, okay, it's 64, 72, like 56 are the normal stitch counts, pretty easy to modify. But I do want to make that disclaimer. But these ones do come with multiple sizes, and I made the size large, realizing later I actually need to make a size medium in socks, or the 64 stitch in socks. So this is a 72 stitch sock, and yeah, it's a good pattern. It's a really great place to start with sock knitting, and it's just a nice vanilla sock, a good way to highlight a pretty skein. So enjoy that pattern a lot, and you know, it's free, so how much can you really say about it? Or how much bad can you really say about a free pattern, you know? The next pair of socks, I have not made these. These are on my to knit list for a gift for this Christmas, actually. They are the Cardamom Tea Socks by Emily Weller. So I'll have a little picture up, and of course links will be in the description for all of these. I just think that these are super nice. I'm planning on I have some drops, oh my gosh, I think it's Fable in one of the printed designs, and I like that these socks have a little bit of ribbing, have a little bit of like special detail, but still let you use those more patterned skeins of sock yarn. So, and this one I do want to say it has 99 projects, so while I cannot vouch for it personally, I think 99 people on Ravelry have knit it and, you know, have said good things about it. So I think it's a well-rated project overall, or well-rated pattern overall, and I'm excited to knit it. Next pair is the Wood Nymph socks, also by This Handmade Life. This Handmade Life just has so many amazing free sock patterns. I highly suggest one day going on Ravelry, sorting her designs by the ones that are free. There's so many amazing ones. I've also paid for a lot of This Handmade Life sock patterns. Like, I don't just buy her free patterns. I think that's a really great way to see her work though, and then really decide which ones you want to pay for, or decide to pay for a few if you fall in love with them, because she writes very well. She has beautiful lace motifs. I am obsessed. So the Wood Nymph socks are probably the next pair of socks I will make by This Handmade Life. Here's a little picture. They're just beautiful. I have some nice green Malabrigo yarn, Malabrigo sock yarn that I think I'll use. So it's gonna be very nice, and they're beautiful. 735 people have made these, and I forgot to note for the last two, the I'm So Basic socks and the Cardamom Tea, they both use fingering weight yarn, as does this one. You know, the norm for socks is fingering weight, but I figure I'll say that as well for all of them, what weight it uses. So yeah, not much more to say about this one. They're beautiful, and I'm excited to knit them one day. And then I feel like you can't have a free knitting patterns video without highlighting the Hermiones Everyday Socks by Erica Lueder. I think Louder, L-U-E-D-E-R. So correct me if I'm saying that wrong, but I believe it's Louder. These are so popular. There are 39,000 projects on Ravelry of these socks, so a very popular sock pattern. They're very nicely textured. They're inspired by Hermione and Harry Potter. Again, a fingering weight sock, and I think this is a really great way to highlight a not super variegated, but some variegation in your skein. So it still has a nice stitch pattern. It's not too complex of a stitch pattern, and so it has that nice stitch pattern, but it still is like simple enough that you can highlight the beautiful yarn you have. And yeah, I have to make these one day too. I'm feeling an urge right now to cast on a pair of socks. It's October, and I'm talking about all these beautiful socks I want to make. So maybe, I don't know, probably not. I have too many things I need to do. But yeah, okay. That being said, The next sock pattern is it's a 2-for-1. This is the Spooktacular and Baptastic socks by Anna Lang. It's Lange. So I think Lange, probably Lang. So this one has 65 projects, which I'm surprised it doesn't have more. I mean, it's a 2-for-1 color work, fun, autumnal pattern. So one of the pairs of socks has pumpkins and the other has bats. Well, specifically jack-o'-lanterns and then bats. And so I would really like to make the bat ones. I have some black sock yarn in stash, and then I probably have something I can use for the background. So I probably won't get around to it this year. Maybe next year I'll make some Baptastic socks, but I think that this is a really great value. 2 patterns for free. With color work. I mean, that's complex to create, and all of the projects in Ravelry look really well done. I really like too that it has a short row heel. That's definitely my preferred heel type, both for knitting and for wear. I at least find I don't need all of the room of a heel flapping gusset. So I really like the design elements beyond just the color work of these socks, and I think that they deserve a little bit more hype around them. So let's go knit them. Go knit them. But yeah, okay, those are my socks. So let's move on to hats next. So the first hat that I want to highlight, I made this last year, and I made a few of these for Christmas last year for friends and family, and it's the classic ribbed Pom Pom Hat by Ashley Hawkins. So here is my version that I kept for myself. I made one for my boyfriend, which is somewhere. My aunt and uncle, my mom, my dad's girlfriend. This was just a very popular, quick project for me to make some gift knits last year. And so it's a 2x2 ribbed hat on a super bulky yarn. So it is super bulky, but it makes it go by really quickly. I could knit each of these in just one day. It took me like, I don't know, maybe 4 hours of knitting to get it done on size 11, US 11 needles, so it went by really quickly too. You can add the pom-pom, you can leave it off, it's cute either way, and yeah, it's a really great pattern. I think now I kind of prefer lighter weight yarns, so I probably won't knit this again for myself, but it's a really great pattern to gift someone. It's very cozy. I guess I can put it on, show you. Yeah, it's nice and cozy, and just if you're looking for a really nice big hat, this is perfect. I will say I both have a really small head, but I also do think I knit kind of loosely, so I would maybe just try on the hat frequently because you can kind of see it's really oversized on me. So, but yeah, it's really cute. It's nice. It's got like a little pearl bump row to nicely fold over, so it's got some pretty good details for being a free pattern. It also has sizes, a few different adult sizes, and then some children's sizes as well. I think this might be the child's large, and you can see it's still really big on me. So yeah, I have a small head, and I'm a loose knitter, but it's cute, it's easy, it's a great gift knit. The next hat is the Tied Knots hat by Justina Lorkowska. So I'll have a picture here. I'm planning on making this for someone for Christmas. I think it's beautiful, and the fact that this cabled hat is free and it has 2,790 patterns, so I feel confident making it. It's wonderful. It looks really beautiful. I think that this is a really, again, similar to the Hermiones Everyday Socks, a really nice way to highlight a slightly variegated skein. So I actually have yarn picked out for this already. I'll be using, it says it's a DK, but I saw a lot of people use the Malabrigo, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting which one, but one of the Malabrigos in a worsted weight yarn. So I'm going to have kind of one of the slightly variegated Malabrigos. For gift knits, I really want to be using things that people can machine wash if they need to, or just that have less care than a garment I would make for myself. So I was looking for a superwash yarn that is pretty affordable, and the worsted weight Malabrigo, I'll I'll put the name and maybe a picture of what it looks like. Yarn is 20 bucks a skein, will give me the hat. So excited about making that, and I think that it's a really beautiful pattern, a really beautiful way to highlight a special skein as well. The next hat I want to highlight is a 2-for-1 again. So it's the Watch Cap and Mitts by Pearl Soho. So I know Pearl Soho has the classic ribbed hat, which is also free, very wonderful pattern. But I think a lot of people talk about that. And for me, I really love this Watch Cap and Mitts set. I love a matching winter's accessories set. I last year made myself one, just put 2 patterns together with a weekend hat, and then the last minute little hand warmers, forgetting the designer of those. The first one's petite knit, but it's really nice to just have something matching, and I like that the details of these 2 actually match as well, so you can make the little mitts. And I think there's options to go from mitten to like fingerless glove, and then there's the really nice hat as well. So this is a DK weight. Pearl Soho knitted up in their Yak blend yarn, which looks really nice. I'm tempted to just kind of copy the Pearl Soho sample. But yeah, very nice. And this one has 519 projects. So, and it's from Pearl Soho, so you know it's a pretty well produced pattern. All right, those are my hats. And then I'll highlight some 6 accessories. So the first one is the Soho Scrunchie by Tori Yu, and I actually just finished this one this week. So here's the medium version of the scrunchie, and I knitted up, well, it's technically fingering weight, but I held this fingering weight double to make it a DK. I was lazy, I wanted to go a little quicker. So I made this little scrunchie. It's, I think, a really great project for scrap busting. You can use any gauge yarn or any weight yarn with it, and the pattern kind of has different cast on numbers based on that, and basically you just cast on as many stitches as it says per your size, knit a tube on 16-inch circulars until it's between 2 and 6 inches depending on what size scrunchie you want, and then and you do a provisional cast on, and then you just put a hair tie, flip the project inside out, put a hair tie in the middle, fold it over, sew it shut with Kitchener, and it makes just a really beautiful scrunchie. So I hope you'll check out that pattern. It's such a great scrap buster. I'm definitely going to be making a ton more. So this is a little gift for a pregnant mom in my life. I made a matching hat as well for a baby, so baby mom set, and just so cute. So yeah, I'm definitely making a ton more of those scrunchies, and I think it's a really great pattern for scraps. The next thing, I have made this, I don't have it with me, so I'll have a little picture on the screen, but it's the Doggo Hood formula by Jessie Weeb. I made this last year for Christmas for one of my friends. She had a little puppy. I think her puppy is now a dog and has grown out the little hood, but I made them matching hats and hoods. So I made her the classic ribbed Pom Pom Hat, and then him this little hood. So I'll have a picture up of him in it. It was so cute and really fun to make. I think that it's a really well thought out pattern too. It kind of tells you where to measure. You get like 3 or 4 different measurements off of your dog's neck and head to then cast on and make this. And you can also use any gauge for it because it is just using the formula. So you make a gauge swatch, you measure everything, you figure out what you need, and then you knit the little hood. And it's so cute to see just all the different projects of all these different size dogs wearing it. There's greyhounds, like I knit it for a German Shepherd. So there's all of these different dogs, Chihuahuas. Like, it's really cute seeing all of the different variations on different size dogs. So it's a very fun pattern and very cute to keep your little puppy's ears warm in the winter. And you can make yourself a matching hat if you want it. The next thing is the Frida Headband by Emily Louise. So I knit this last year for Christmas as well. I don't have it with me anymore. Obviously it was a gift. So I think I have a picture. I'll insert it, or I'll just put a picture from the pattern if I don't. But it's supposed to use a fingering and lace weight. I actually used a DK and it turned out great. and it's a very simple knit a double knit tube, and then at the end you sew it together and make a little twist, and so it guides you really well through how to make the twist. And this is how I learned double knitting as well, and it's a very good product. Very easy and very classic look. I might make one of these for myself this year. I think it would be really nice to just have something to cover my ears. So yeah, it's a great project. Recommend highly. The next thing is the Low Key Bandana by Low Key Bold Knit. So I have mine with me. I actually tested this before the pattern came out. It is a free pattern, so I think I was the only person who tested it. And it's a really great, simple bandana pattern. So I modified mine slightly by adding an applied I-cord so that I could actually tie it around my head. And here's a little close-up of the stitch pattern. So it kind of looks like rattan or something. I think it's beautiful. And you can knit it as big as you want. You know, the designer has made one big enough to actually tie as a top. I really like it as a little scarf for my head. I also, oh, that's my gauge swatch. I made my cat a little tiny one. So this is it with just a normal cast off on the top, and so a little cat could wear it around their neck. So it's a really great simple pattern that looks beautiful as a little scarf, and it's very versatile. You can wear it around your neck as well. So I highly recommend this one, given that, you know, I've knit it. I think I made 4 variations of it. I gave 2 away, and so I made those 4 variations, and I just think it's like a very nice, easy to knit accessory. So yeah, and then no, not the final one. The next thing, oh, and this uses a sport to DK weight yarn. So I knitted on a DK. The pattern calls for a sport, but I actually just sized up my needles because it is just, here's the stitch pattern, knit until you are happy with the dimensions. So I think it calls for a US 4 and sport weight, and I used a US 6 and DK weight just because that's what I had in stash. So it's pretty versatile. I don't think you'd want to do it in like a super bulky, but even going down to a fingering, making it a little bit more delicate looking would be nice too. So lots of different weights. All right. The next pattern is the Dahlia hair tie bow by Isabel Cecilia, and this has 139 projects on Ravelry, and it uses fingering and lace weight yarn. This to me is just so beautiful, delicate. I definitely want to make one. I have so many scraps, so I think with some of my scraps I'll have to make a little hair bow for maybe Christmas. I go to the Nutcracker every year, so maybe I'll make myself a little knitted hair bow to wear to that with my family. So yeah, it's very sweet. I love the way the designer styled it, and I love the simplicity of it, but also the fact that it's not just, you know, a little scarf. There's a thing in the middle to add a little bit more structural integrity and help you tie it well. So yeah, very cute. And the final accessory is the On the Rails scarf by Espace Tricot. So Espace Tricot is a yarn store based in, I do not know Canada very well, but somewhere in Canada, the French parts of Canada, that I've seen High Fiber Knits go there. I've seen some other people go there, and very beautiful, and they release a lot of free patterns, which is nice. And this is one of them. It only has 21 Ravelry projects, which I'm very surprised by. I think this is a beautiful scarf. I think if I have time this winter, I definitely want to knit it. And it uses DK weight yarn, I should say, as well. And it's just, I don't know, it just looks really nice. It's like a nice amount of detail. It's simple enough to wear with a lot of things, but really nice detail. So there will have been, or there will be, a picture up on the screen of it. And yeah, it's just really pretty. So I like it a lot. All right, and then the final category I'll be talking through today is garments. And I only have a few garments. I do want to point that out. I mean, I was kind of focusing on things I want to knit, or things I have knit, and I just haven't knit a lot of free garments. I also think that there are less free garment patterns out there because a garment pattern takes a lot more work to create than a sock or an accessory. So, you know, you're gonna see less free patterns out there because of that. So the first one I'll highlight is the Paloma by Space Tricot again. It's a fingering and lace weight, and I'm realizing I forgot to write how many patterns this one has, but I know it's a lot. I think it's in the thousands of patterns that this turtleneck design has. And so it's a really nice, simple looking turtleneck, very lightweight. It's got this nice arm detail, and I really want to knit this. Well, I'm kind of tied up between this and the second one I'll talk about, which we'll get to that one. The next one is the Classic by Space Tricot. It's another turtleneck using fingering and lace weight yarn. Again, forgot to write down how many patterns, but in the thousands, and it's so pretty. I really like the black or the charcoal color of the sample in this one, and I'm trying to decide kind of which project I would like more between the Paloma and the Classic. I think that they're very similar, but there are some differences, one being the seam down the side of the Paloma, or not seam, but just like the detail, stitch detail down the side of the sleeves. The Paloma and the Classic I think is a little bit more oversized. So kind of debating which one I'd want to make, but both are just really beautiful, simple turtleneck projects. So love those. And then the final project I will highlight, which again, a very popular free pattern, is the Summer Secret Crop by Jessie Made Designs. So there are 2,842 pattern projects of this on Ravelry. It's very popular. I've seen a lot of other podcasters talk about it, seen a lot on Instagram. It's just a really nice summer pattern. So it uses fingering weight yarn, but I think I've seen others knit it in a bit of a heavier weight to make it a thicker fabric, less see-through potentially. And it's very simple. It's got like a nice racer back detail. It's cropped, so you could make it not cropped if you want. And I think it's pretty size inclusive as well. I think there's a lot of different sizes, which is awesome for a free pattern as well. So yeah, I'll probably knit this one maybe next summer, maybe for a friend. I'm not really sure, but it's been on my to knit list for a while because it is just a wonderful design, and I want to fit in and have it with all the other 2,842 people that have made it, at least on Ravelry. So yeah, those are the free patterns I'll highlight today. I hope that maybe you found a pattern you want to knit from this, or you're starting to think through gift knitting through this video. I'm not sure, but whatever the use is from this video, I hope that you found some use or enjoyment out of it, and I hope that you enjoy your October. I'll see you again